zvinhu zviya zvakusipaka manje. We're seeing some action. That is if Madara kana asiri kutiitira drama. Yes, yesterday we did do stories, the story of VP Chiwenga's explosive dossier. Then we saw President Emmerson Mnangagwa saying, "Akumana 2020 elections zilipo aiwa 2030 and challenge." Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Now what is happening? Zimbabwe President Emmerson Mnangagwa throwing shade at VP Chiwenga. Coup accusations. Is it a counter game, a counter play, as we were seeing stories that Mnangagwa allies dubbed Gananda are facing arrest following the presentation of a dossier by VP Chiwenga. So we see there is an exchange between Chiwenga and one of the state security leaders. Could these guys be plotting something, ladies and gentlemen? So we're going to be covering all those stories and more. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to be talking about the political tensions in Zimbabwe, the accusations on Chiwenga, coup accusations, and what that means. So if there was an exchange between Chiwenga and that is to say, we are seeing criminals around President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Pakudayimi operation. This time it's not Operation Restore Legacy, no. It's Operation Restore Legs and walk out of power. Restore legality. We restore the rule of law. Restore leadership, ladies and gentlemen. Uye kana mini machia akachikoka makumbo mzimba zenyu. Restore my legs futi. So we're going to talk about those accusations and we're going to go deeper with this saga. Chiwenga, could he be the change that Zimbabwe needs? Could he bring the change that Zimbabwe needs? He could be one flexible person. So we're going to go into those details, his past accomplishments, and we're going to talk about what happened, the 2017 coup. Who planned it? Was it a planned coup? And could we be anticipating for something in that nature in the nation of Zimbabwe? Ladies and gentlemen, I hope Batrang are appearing live at 11.7%. I'm going to guess, ladies and gentlemen. Power plant in every year. So we're going to talk about his role in 2017 coup. Was it a long planned thing? Was it spontaneous? And what is about to happen right about now in the nation of Zimbabwe? To those watching us live, make sure you click the like button and subscribe to TVCN Live if you have not yet already done so that you never miss any of our videos. Because why? We make videos each and every day. So right about now, to those watching us live, click the like button and do confirm if you can hear me loudly and clearly. Yeah?
Seven Live Africa, always on point. Bullseye hitting hard, shaking the joint. Stealing hearts, a true crime, bringing the news right on time. CD7 Live Africa, always on point. Bullseye hitting hard, shaking the joint. Stealing hearts, a true crime, bringing the news right on time. CD7 Live Africa, always on point. Bullseye hitting hard, shaking the joint. Stealing
All right, let us dive in. Zimbabwe's political tensions. Mnangagwa accusations against Chiwenga. On September 19, 2025, Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa publicly accused Vice President Constantino Chiwenga of plotting a coup to overthrow him, escalating a long-simmering power struggle within the ruling party of ZANU-PF. This dramatic claim came during a live broadcast address where Mnangagwa described Chiwenga's alleged actions as betrayal, citing intelligence reports of military mobilizations and factional plotting by Chiwenga loyalists. The accusations marks a rare, direct confrontation between the two men who were once allies in the 2017 military intervention that ousted Robert Mugabe. Now, Mnangagwa and Chiwenga's relationship dates back decades, forged in Zimbabwe's liberation war and deepened through shared roles in post-independent security and politics. Chiwenga, as the former commander of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, played a pivotal role in the 2017 Operation Restore Legacy, a soft coup that removed Mugabe and installed Mnangagwa as president. Reports at the time suggested a gentleman's agreement where Mnangagwa would serve 1 or 2 terms before handing over to Chiwenga, but this has unraveled amid accusations of betrayal. Tensions have built over the years. We have seen tensions on the build-up over the years and the ruling party of ZANU-PF. This didn't begin now, but rather it has been spanning for some time. So when did the tensions begin? Let us jump on to that. We go way back, as way back as the year 2018, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, at a point in time, we see Chiwenga, VP Chiwenga, getting seriously ill. What had happened there? Then we see him divorcing his wife, Mary Mubayiwa. If Mary was sent to kill VP Chiwenga, who sent Mary Chiwenga to be doing that? Then Mary Chiwenga. Now, 2017 to 2018, Mnangagwa stripped Chiwenga of oversight over the Ministry of Defense, reassigning him to lesser influential roles like procurement. This was seen as a move to curb military influence. 2023 to 2024, rumors of Mnangagwa 2030 agenda. We see rumors of Mnangagwa's 2030 agenda extending his role beyond the constitutional 2-term limit ending in 2028. Intensified faction divides. Chiwenga's allies. including war veterans, opposed this, viewing it as a violation of party resolutions. Then early 2025, war veteran, we see war veteran Blessed Geza accusing Mnangagwa of plotting to poison Chiwenga, citing a 2019 incident where Chiwenga was airlifted for medical treatment abroad. Geza, expelled from ZANU-PF for his criticism, has rallied support for Chiwenga as Mnangagwa dismissed this as treasonous and fired a Chiwenga ally. And who was this ally? Anselm Sanyatwe. This is said to have happened amid fears of a counter coup. So he countered the counter coup. Now sounding like some kung fu words. Now the Fed pits Midlands cartel, allies from his home province, including tycoon Kurakwashe Tagwirei, against Chiwenga's military-backed faction, rooted in liberation war credentials. Analysts described it as a mortal combat with no honor among former thieves, referring their joint roles in controversial events like the 2008 election violence. Now, what are the key developments in 2025? Recent weeks have seen heightened maneuvering of ZANU-PF annual conference in Mutare, 13 to 18 October 2025. Now, September 4, Mnangagwa allies pushed for a constitutional amendment at the conference to delay 2028 elections until 2030, effectively extending his term. Local government minister Daniel Gare publicly stated elections would not occur in 2028, calling Mnangagwa a constitutionalist who needs the law changed to align with party resolutions. It seems these guys, they just align it. Wanongo nanganisa. Manji nangoka nanganisa, uningo kanyanisa. Jinige sila kunangana. Big up to everybody who's watching us live. To those watching us live, can you do confirm in the comment section if you can hear me loudly and clearly? Let me just check to verify the audio there. So we're going to be covering all those stories and more. I think the audio is coming out neat and nice. Neat and nice. Big up everybody who's watching us live right about now. Yeah man, big up. Dr. Clarence is the name, and TV7 Live is the channel. Broadcasting live and direct from the nation of Zimbabwe, Africa. Now, September 13, we see at ZANU-PF, a ZANU-PF meeting held at Precab Farm, Mnangagwa's Quaker residence, discussed Chiwenga under the guise of planning Mnangagwa's birthday celebrations. Insiders say the goal was to sideline Chiwenga and block his succession bid. This is September 13. September 17, reports emerge of Mnangagwa importing heavy weapons into Zimbabwe, allegedly to counter a potential military action by Chiwenga's loyalists. September 18 to 19, social media buzz intensified with live streams claiming Mnangagwa was accusing Chiwenga of coup plotting. Chiwenga has remained publicly silent, but his supporters, including Geza, have framed him as the legitimate heir, emphasizing his role in the year 2017, where we saw military tanks rolling in the streets of Zimbabwe. Ladies and gentlemen, now, broader context and stakeholders' views. How are our people are seeing this and viewing these happenings in the ruling party of ZANU-PF, ladies and gentlemen. ZANU-PF internal split. The party is divided into pro-Mnangagwa favoring extensions or a loyalist like Tagire, and pro-Chiwenga war veterans pushing for 2028 handover. Geza's faction, including some ex-generals, accuses Mnangagwa of corruption and economic mismanagement, while Mnangagwa labels decent counter-revolutionary. Military role. Chiwenga's ZDF influence remains strong, but Mnangagwa has consolidated control by promoting loyalists like General Philip Valero Sibanda. His cousin. A coup by Chiwenga is far-fetched without broader support for analysts, but not impossible given 2017 precedents. Now, opposition and public sentiments, figures like Hobo Chingono and war veterans see the feared as ZANU-PF infighting, offering no real change. International angle. Western sanctions on both the men for corruption, Chiwenga for human rights abuses, and Mnangagwa for the same, complicate matters. Mnangagwa's recent travel fears abandoning UN General Assembly trip underscores paranoia. Now, this accusation could prepare ZANU-PF schism, military intervention, or negotiated truce at the military conference. Chiwenga's silence suggests a strategic patience, but escalating risks instability in an economy already reeling from hyperinflation, drought, bad governance, and bad finance. Chiwenga is the dumbest man in front of a successful coup. If he allows Mnangagwa to outmaneuver him, Zimbabweans weary of elite power games may ultimately decide to go through the streets or ballot, though the latter remains rigged. Now, why Chiwenga? Constantino Chiwenga might bring actual change to the nation of Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe's political landscape remains deeply divided within the ruling ZANU-PF party, with escalating tensions between Emmerson Mnangagwa and Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, fueling speculation about a potential power shift. Chiwenga, a retired army general who played a pivotal role in the 2017 ouster of Robert Mugabe, is increasingly positioned by some analysts and party factions as a figure who could deliver more substantive reforms. His military background and perceived distance from Mnangagwa's alleged corruption networks are cited as key factors. Unlike Mnangagwa, who faces widespread accusations of cronyism and economic mismanagement, Chiwenga is viewed by supporters, particularly liberation war veterans, as a defender of revolutionary principles. From Zimbabwe's independence struggle, recent protests in March 2025, led by figures like Blessed Geza, explicitly called for Chiwenga to replace Mnangagwa, highlighting his growing grassroots appeal amid economic woes like hyperinflation and poverty rates exceeding 70%. Chiwenga's vocal criticism of rent seekers tied to Mnangagwa has further boosted his image as a potential anti-corruption crusader, though critics argue he offers no better alternative given his own history of suppressing strikers. Now Chiwenga, why is he loved more than Mnangagwa, who is lobbying for 2030? Chiwenga is loved without campaigning or lobbying or lobbyists lobbying for him. Chiwenga enjoys broader public affection, particularly among military loyalists and veterans. This is due to his image as a disciplined people's general who intervened in the 2017 coup to halt Mugabe. Perceived excesses, social media and protests in 2025 have amplified this. Figures like Geza garnering massive online support by accusing Mnangagwa of corruption and economic failure. Claims echoed in recent ZANU-PF infighting. Chiwenga's faction has blocked Mnangagwa's third-term ambition, positioning him as a constitutionalist. In contrast, Mnangagwa's popularity has plummeted amid allegations of favoritism. Mnangagwa's 2030 push, lobbying to extend his term. Via constitutional amendments has ignited backlash. ZANU-PF resolutions from 2014 October and January 2025 conferences endorsed this, framing it as a necessary Vision 2030 economic goals. But critics like clergy groups and opposition figures call it retrogressive and unconstitutional. Protests in March 2025 led to 95 arrests, with demonstrators chanting for Chiwenga amid fears of a third term. Like Mugabe's, Mnangagwa has shuffled security leadership, e.g. firing Army Commander Anselm Sanyatwe to coup-proof his regime. But this has only deepened divisions. Now, Chiwenga's role in the 2017 coup, was it a long-term plan or spontaneous? Which was it? Chiwenga. Chiwenga was the coup architect and the public face leading Operation Restore Legacy on November 14 to 15, 2017. As Zimbabwe Defense Forces commander, he would issue a televised ultimatum on November 13 against Mugabe's pages of rivals like Mnangagwa, warning of intervention to protect revolutionary principles. Troops under his command would seize Harare key sites, detained Mugabe, who would resign on November 21, and we see subsequent installation of Mnangagwa, framed as a bloodless correction rather than a coup. His pre-coup China visit, 6 November to 10 November, would spark speculation of Beijing tacit approval given China investment in Zimbabwe. Now, was it long-term or spontaneous? It was neither purely one. It was neither one nor the other, but a calculated escalation of long-growing tensions triggered by immediate events, factional rivalries within the ruling party of ZANU-PF. Mnangagwa Lacoste versus Grace Mugabe's G40. It simmered since 2014, with military dominated by the 1970s war veterans like Chiwenga siding against G40 perceived the youth takeover. Mugabe's sacking of Mnangagwa on November 6 was the spark. Chiwenga, learning of his own arrest warrant during the China trip, accelerated mobilization. A 2019 study described it as a vote of no confidence in Mugabe succeeding due to veterans, loyalists, loyalty, but rooted in years of plotting, e.g. failed 2017 attempt. Mnangagwa benefited from public sympathy as Mugabe's victim, but the coup wasn't spontaneous. Chiwenga forces had contingency plans, though executed hastily to avoid backlash. Recent discussions visit this, questioning if Chiwenga was used by Mnangagwa. Ultimately, it restored elite control without broader change, mirroring today's state where we are right about now. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, big up to everybody who was watching us live right about now. To those who want to support TV7 Live to enable us to improve our broadcasting, I'm having problems with my equipment. My microphone is bad, etc. I was being harassed by some superstitious fools who murdered my father in 2008, thinking they can murder me, so I wasn't working consistently, so most of my stuff is broken down. So those who want to support TV7 Live, any token, any amount would go a long way. Those are the details there for education and any other. Big up everybody who was watching us live. Blessed Mushanga said, go Chiwenga for president, don't hesitate, I will support. Martin Garrett says, loud and clear. Jimmy Stolle says, Chiwenga Chibaba, right on Nyandoro. We just wait for the day it's happening. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Zimbabweans, thank you for watching TV7 Live. That was it for now. Until we meet again, big up everybody. Be blessed. Blaze it, blaze it, blaze it, blaze it. More fire in Zimbabwe. More fire wherever you're watching us from. In Zimbabwe, outer Zimbabwe, in the diaspora. Yes, in Dimi Makakura, my Zimbabweans. Big up, big up.
Stealing hearts that you cry, bringing the news back on time. Always on point. Bullseye hitting hard, shaking the joint. Stealing hearts like true